Great afternoon, everyone. I have some people that are looking at wanting to learn Tarot and Lenormand. So what I tell people, the way I read is different than the way other people read. And what I can tell you about it is you just have to sit with your deck. Now you can take a Lenormand deck, and there are very good books out on Lenormand, what they mean. And there's 36 cards in a traditional Lenormand, or you can have like the Reverie, and he's got a few extra cards in there, like 41. You've got more cards than the traditional 36. So, when you pick a deck, pick something that means something to you. Go through, you can go through, you get a name of a deck on Amazon or Etsy, and then you can go to YouTube, put the name of that deck in, and you'll find somebody showing all those cards. So find a deck that appeals to you, okay? Now, I happen to really like this new deck that I got, the Sweet Blossom Lenormand. Very sweet deck, okay? Or the Gilded Reverie by Ciro Marchetti. Also very good deck. And then I created my own deck as well, in which I used regular photographs that I had taken. Most of them I had taken the photographs myself on trips, like this is from San Francisco. So I created my own deck, and I have, I think it's like 15 extra cards versus a regular 36 Lenormand deck. So you just find the deck that speaks to you. Some of them will be more interesting than other decks, So again, just go and pick a deck that piques your interest. Now each tarot deck, even though it's based on the Rider-Waite system, which most of my decks are, I just prefer the Rider-Waite system. You'll find there are some differences in them, okay? A little difference in the imagery. And that little difference in imagery can create for you a different feeling for that card, okay? So the way I tell people to learn to do tarot is sit with the cards. And what does that card mean to you, okay? It's because the whole thing about Tarot or Lenormand is you're getting the message that speaks to you from your cards, okay? Now, there are a lot of people that say, oh, you have to study this one and you have to study the original, and this card, I'll have people come and say, that card doesn't mean that, the card means it. Well, no, not to me it doesn't mean that. So there is no right way and wrong way on Tarot, because it is setting up a system for a communication for you. What does it mean to you? Okay, so that's it. You sit with the thing. Now, a thing I'll tell people to do is watch a crime show or something like that, and put out your cards, do a reading, and watch that show, and you'll see how your cards fit with that specific case, okay? And that will give you a little bit more of a hint on reading your cards in a manner that conveys what's taking place. So if there is a show on, and it is, not fantasy show, it's a genuine case type of a thing, again, you can lay your cards out, and that will help you to be able to engage and read them in a manner that is where you get the right type of message from it. But again, this deck I happen to like. This is the Arcanum. The Arcanum. I think that this deck is very easy to read. It's a Rider-Waite based deck, and I think the images are very clear. Now I have this other deck, I really like it, but the images aren't real clear in some of them. This is very clear, okay? You know what that is, the Two of Swords, very clear, okay? Now some of them, the King, this deck is a little different. There are a few, easily you can tell that's the devil, okay? You can easily tell that. Now, if I'm reading with this deck, I might get a little bit of a different, like that's a different feel to it. That's got to be the 9, okay? Having that difficulty pushing through. Now, I might read that a little different than I would another deck of the 9 of Wands. Again, different decks, you may get a different feeling from them. And the same thing if you're reading a deck like this. This is a star, I forget what it's called, star something. But this is very esoteric feeling, very much more, you know, the cards in this, the High Priestess, you get a little bit of a different feel for it, the Tower. So depending on the readings that you're doing, you may have different decks for different readings, okay? Like, a deck that I like that I just got, where is it? This one. And these cards are a bit different too. Okay, there's your 6 of Cups, the past. Now, on there, you got to see that it's 6 of Cups. It looks like a single cup, but it's not. The Wheel. This deck has got a totally different feel to it. Okay, 8 of Pentacles. Okay. Now, in this case, the 8 of Pentacles looks like what he's searching for. Okay. He's working on what he's searching for, versus you get an 8 of Pentacles in one of these other decks. To see if I see it. And it's usually you see somebody hammering out things, you know. They're working on a workbench. They're working on it. So again, with a different deck, same card, but you may have a different feeling for it. Okay? So, you know, if I don't sit there and think about, what deck would be right for this reading, because I don't remember all the cards in it. It's just by intuition that I pull the decks. I might pull a deck, I might pull a Lenormand with it, I might pick an oracle card with it, and you lay them out together, and you get what that deck is conveying to you. Again, it's about just learning how and what these cards symbolize to you. Not necessarily what it symbolizes to the person that made the deck. They may have a totally different feeling for that card than you do. Okay? So I don't really hold. Now, when I get my decks, I don't look at the books, because what it means to that person is not necessarily what it will mean to me. And I'm the one that's communicating with the cards. Okay? You have to be able to speak the language of this cards. And that just takes, again, sitting with the image and seeing how it feels to you. Okay? What does that image tell you? Is that the mountain? Now, usually mountains are an obstruction, but it could be strength in some things, unmovable. It could be strength, it could be something immovable, just depending on the reading that you're doing and how it's conveying and how it's with your other cards, how it's linking with other cards. So again, different readings, you may feel that, what are you doing, you two? You may feel it's a different meaning depending on the reading. And again, may I say there's no right and wrong. It's what it means to you. It's about, getting your intuition going and go with how it feels to you. Is it bringing happiness, bringing sadness? Is it bringing strife? If you're a person that works on feelings, okay, then see what it is conveying to you on an energetic level, okay? So on that note, I'll leave that here. I hope that's helped rather than confusing the issue, but it's just about spending time with the cards. Again, develop your own layout pattern. I developed my own layout pattern, okay? I have a couple that I use. So again, I don't use the traditional things. I don't look for I don't do the Celtic cross. I don't do the, I have my own thing that I developed. And so again, don't feel bad about developing your own thing. What are the questions you want to have answers to? Okay. And so develop a layout for that. Okay. Most people like to use one card, for one subject. I use 3 cards. I use 4 cards with one subject and bring them together. For me, it's like I said, it's more like constructing a sentence. It's more like constructing all of those different elements and stringing them together. Okay? So let's see. Let's ask, what do I want to look at now? Oh, what can I ask here real quick? I don't necessarily want to do a Trump thing again. Okay, I'm going to use this deck, and I'm going to ask about okay, what's beneficial? What would be beneficial for people for, let's do for today. Let's just do today. What's beneficial for people today? So when I do my readings, my first line or you know what, I'm going to do the shorter one. Let me put this up. Now this uses less cards than when I do my usual one, but let me see if I can get this set up here real quick. Maybe video. See if I can get this thing over here. Sorry about that. Oh, I hate to do this, try to do this. I can never, that's why. Trying to do this. It's a big pain in the rear to get it set up. Setup here is not good. There's got to be an easier one set up than this. Okay, let me see if I can get that. All right, what happened? Okay, set this. Try to get this set up. You know, people always, I want to see the cards. I want to see. Well, it's not that easy to get a set up for me, right? Okay, so and now I've got this thing hanging down. Okay, Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I can get both of them on. I don't think I can. Okay, so I'm going to turn off this one and go with the other one, and we'll see. Okay, so what's good to know right now for people today? Let me turn this on. Okay, hopefully that's not going to cause too much glare. So this is my simpler reading. I don't use as many cards, almost as many cards, but I don't do what's under the surface with this. So our main thing is about the takeaway. Now, usually on most decks, you would see this as a steal, okay? Well, it's not necessarily the steal. It also could be what you're holding on to, okay? The takeaway for things. It could be like in some decks, you see them holding some and then some left behind. What do you need to take and what are you leaving behind? In this deck, I would say, what is it that you're holding on to? All of these thoughts that are here, what are you holding on to? So in this deck, that is what I would read for here. It's about tempering. Maybe you have too many thoughts, and there are some things that need to be tempered. You weave your story together. The Four of Wands. Now, usually this is the card for the house. Now, the Four is also the card of stability, okay? So what are you putting in? What's flowering that brings you stability, that tempers some of these thoughts, okay? So you could see how different that is than if I had the card here, which is the Four of Wands, which is my card for the White House. Or if you're not reading on the political, that would be perhaps where you live, the energy you're surrounding yourself with, okay? Perhaps what brings you joy, what is stable, okay? So again, you can get a lot of different messages based on the card, how it's feeling to you. In this, we have the gardens growing, flowers growing, what's flowering. So what is stable brings you stability, tempering so many thoughts that you're holding on to here. So now we are going to look at these together, okay? So you have a new cup, a new light. What kind of a light are you going to shed on these things? What kind of emotions are they bringing up? And what is it that you're bringing to rest? Okay, maybe sometimes, again, the stability, what brings you stability, you need to take a bit of rest from it to temper it, because there might be emotions coming up with this. And so bringing your best life, the things, all of the things that are surrounding you within your life that you're dealing with today on this daily basis. So above it, we have the Hangman. The Hangman is like seeing from a different view. There may be some things you may have to sacrifice along the way to bring temperance when it comes to the emotions, new emotions coming in, okay? And you're connecting these again. This is about your truth, your inner truth. Now, some people would read this as a woman in your life, which you could do if it's that type of thing. But for me, the women is the inner realm, okay? And the men is the outer realm, okay? Now, usually in Hinduism, I would see it the other way, that the woman is Shakti. That's the things that are manifesting in the universe. But for most people, they are seeing the masculine as the outer. Okay, so then in that case, then I'll see the woman, the queen, your inner truth that you need to rest with to bring you this balance when you have too many thoughts taking place. Oop. Accidentally turned that on. Okay, so let's see what we have else above it. What you're working on, what you're building, the Three of Pentacles. So the things you're building in your life that you have today surrounding you, okay? So we look at tempering. There may be some things that you sacrifice when it comes to the emotional realm, your inner truth, which you need to rest in to bring this balance, okay? Bring balance. Underneath of it all, the things that you're guarding, the Seven of Wands, all of the things you're holding to, new truth that may be coming in, and the Five of Swords. Now, if I'm doing political reads, usually that's an abuse of power, but it also can be taking control. Taking control when you have so multitude of thoughts, taking control. And then my last one is for the family, or for the fullness of what you're bringing in to have a successful life today, okay? So looking at what you're guarding, looking at new information coming in, taking control of the elements of your life today, okay? The elements of your life. The foundation is new light coming in for the fullness to bring you rest. Maybe some things need to be rest above it. We have perhaps sacrifice or seeing from a different viewpoint of what you're building and the inner truth that you're holding on to when it comes to so many thoughts that you are holding, tempering those with balance. Okay, so you want to bring balance today. Maybe look at some things you may have to let go of to bring you more inner peace, of reflecting, okay? Pulling back and reflecting, okay? So that's the one way that I read. And the other way that I read, I'm wondering if we should do a different deck. These are a little more complicated than what you would have in a straightforward. We'll go ahead and do the straightforward one here. Now this again, you get a little different message with. Looking at today, an overview of today. So the message is about, the first three cards are about the message. So the first thing is about an ending. Doesn't mean you're dying any second. It just means an end and a transition to something else. Okay, everything is energy. About a manipulation or a radical change using all of the elements at hand, which if we're looking at today, rather than in a political read, the magician to me is a manipulation, okay? In this type of read, I would say an ending and using all the tools at your disposal to make a major change. You've got the energy, action, the grounded, the things that are happening immediately, the emotions and the thoughts. So using all of those elements to make a massive change, okay? And a judgment. So we've got three major arcana here at the beginning. So big deal. If you want to have change, you need to judge rightly using all the elements at your disposal to make an end to things and transition to something else. So the next card in readings that I do are the energy or the past, the energy coming into it, okay? So you're ready to make a move, okay? 3 is starting to move. So you're going to end something and you're starting to move towards something else. It has to do with your past, all the things you've gathered and experienced in your past, and things that you want to judgment about, things that are concerning to you, or nightmare scenarios, things that you have raining down on you that are difficult to deal with, okay? So what is happening today? It's about taking control. It could be you're in an abuse. If you are someone that's in an abusive relationship, it's about ending, moving forward from an abusive relationship, or it's ending, moving forward, and taking control. Yeah, the wheel is turning, the karmic wheel, okay? All the tools at your disposal when it comes to your past, and it's time to make a wheel. The wheel of karma is changing, turning. It's about the judgment, the foundation, when it comes to the things that are, still in your face, causing nightmare scenarios, and the inner realm of what you really are holding on to daily. So the challenge, this would be your challenge, what's offered. So what are you offering? What's being offered to you, or what are you offering to another? What's being built, okay? What you're constructing. And it's about what action are you going to do? Okay, this is what you're holding on to, the elements of the things you're holding on to, and this is you taking control of the action with an outcome for the long term. Tempering, bringing to balance, tempering. Okay, so here we have the card of this, they see a lot of times as the theft. Well, it could be a theft of your energy, or it could be the takeaway, okay? So looking at where you're having some loss of energy is in this reading, I would say, because he's looking into here, he's looking towards you and holding on to your energy in the world. So maybe some of the thoughts that you're carrying are causing a loss of energy for you, okay? So that it could be read that way. So if we went to look at this, we would say an ending when it comes to the long term of the things that are gathered and collected, or the things that maybe you need to look at. What are you leaving behind? What are you taking with you? When it comes to, again, looking over here, this loss of energy and judgment. In the center, we have the wheel, okay? So this would be taking control of your world, the things that you have that you can, or this loss of power. You could be in an abusive relationship, depending, okay? An abuse of power when it comes to what you're holding on to. It would just depend on the situation that you're in, which way that would be read. The nightmare of what's being offered, okay? Look at what's being offered. Moving forward when it comes to using your energy, okay? We have the past. Now the massive change is coming with the wheel. When it comes to your past, moving forward, when it comes to the nightmare, it's time to maybe look at some things, come to an end, and hold what you're holding to. And again, judgment about taking control, or when you feel like there was an abuse of power, okay, coming to rectify those things, looking at them deeper as to what you are constructing, building. Are you taking control of this feeling of the loss of power, or are you letting it control you? Okay, So it's the long term. What are you holding on to for the long term? The wheel is about tempering this and offering up what you can do out in the world, your energetic connection. So that's the way I would read this type of thing. You can put it out. This is what the reading's about, the energy coming in, what's happening today. This is the challenges, okay? The challenges, the difficulties, and possibilities. This is a possible outcome, okay? Now, don't forget everything's in flux, so this can be changed. But then if you wanted to read it, you can read it like you do Lenormand as well and connect these up. I connect it here, connect it here, connect it this way, connect it this way, and then I do each one of the ones and connect all the different elements, and you can get a lot more, again, out of your reading, okay, as to how they go. Now, when I've done that, then if I want to look and see what's under the surface, it's kind of like what's driving all of this. What's driving all of this. And then again, I lay out the cards the same way. Maybe you feel like you are separated from the religiosity, or maybe you're feeling that you're lacking, okay? There's an agreement of what's been overturned, or maybe some sacrifice when it comes to the path forward, something new coming in directly into your daily existence, okay? The pentacles are not always about money. It could be about money, but it's also the grounded element, okay? The ground element of what's taking place, of a new action, a message coming out about what's taking place there, an agreement of the difficulties, okay? It's about looking at your desires, where things are getting hung up, the new path, what in there is not beneficial. The new action is about the harvest, what you're going to get, what you think you're going to get, etc. It's about coming to a point of victory. You could feel like it's a tower moment with some of the things that are taking place. New emotions, new desires coming up. Look at falsehoods. Maybe you've been fed some falsehoods that you've been told. And when it comes to harvest, a new action is fighting for truth. So again, you can go through here and see what's driving it, coming together. Message. This could be, if it's regular reading, higher elements, looking at higher elements being worked on, and where this is moving too rapidly. So, you know, you can go as far as you want with this, but that's the way I do my readings, okay? So, let me put this. So I hope that helps you understanding reading of Tarot and the Lenormand. You can put those decks together. I will read maybe one card from the Tarot, one from Lenormand, and one from an Oracle deck. I mix them up all the time. It's not necessary you stay with one, although you can. Again, you develop your own style. So I hope that's helped a little bit and not confused you even more. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Just enjoy your readings and just see how accurate they are or not.